Bears Nation, something absolutely wild just happened that could completely change the trajectory of our season. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this might be the break we've been waiting for. There's a development involved in our Week 12 matchup that has everyone in Chicago talking. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail of what I'm about to share. This isn't just about one game. This is about momentum. This is about proving doubters wrong. And this is about taking advantage of an opportunity that could define our entire playoff push. Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your home for all the breaking news, exclusive updates, and insider information about our beloved Chicago Bears. I'm here to bring you the latest on everything happening with this team. And today's update is something that could shift the entire NFC North race. Stick with me because what you're about to discover will have you feeling more optimistic about our chances than you felt in a long time. Let me start by setting the scene for where we are right now as a franchise. The Chicago Bears are sitting at 7-3 after an incredible last-second victory over the Minnesota Vikings in Week 11. We are currently leading the NFC North, something that many people didn't think was possible at the start of this season. We've won 3 straight games. We're playing with confidence. And there's a genuine belief in this locker room that we can compete with anyone. This is a different Bears team than what we've seen in recent years. A team that's finding ways to win close games. A team that's executing when it matters most. And a team that's building something special. Now, I know what the critics are saying. They're pointing out that our 7 victories have come against opponents with a combined record of 19-50-1. They're saying we haven't beaten a single team with a winning record. They're questioning whether this success is real or just a product of a favorable schedule. And you know what? Those are fair points to bring up. We have faced teams like the Las Vegas Raiders, the New Orleans Saints, and the New York Giants. Teams that are struggling this season. We did lose to the Baltimore Ravens when they were without Lamar Jackson. We gave up 52 points to the Detroit Lions, and we allowed a fourth-quarter comeback to J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings back in Week 1. So yes. There are legitimate questions about how good this team really is, but here's what I'll say to those critics. Wins are wins in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're beating playoff contenders or struggling teams. Every victory counts the same in the standings. And the fact that we're finding ways to win games we're supposed to win shows growth and maturity. Too many times in recent years, the Bears have been the team that loses games they should win, that finds ways to shoot themselves in the foot when opportunity knocks. This year feels different. This team is executing in crucial moments, making plays when they need to, and building the kind of winning culture that's been missing for far too long. As we look ahead to Week 12, we've got a massive matchup coming up at Soldier Field against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are sitting at 6-4. This is exactly the kind of game that will tell us what this Bears team is really made of. The Steelers are a tough physical team with a strong defense and a winning pedigree. They're the kind of opponent that can expose weaknesses and test your resolve. This is the type of game where we need to prove we belong in the conversation as legitimate playoff contenders. And here's where things get really interesting, where the story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. There's breaking news coming out of Pittsburgh that could have massive implications for our Week 12 matchup. And it involves a quarterback who has absolutely tormented the Bears for over a decade. I'm talking about someone who has owned this franchise, who has broken our hearts time and time again, who has celebrated victories at Soldier Field like it's his second home. This quarterback has been a nightmare for Bears fans, a constant reminder of the gap between our team and the elite teams in this league. But now, for the first time in what feels like forever, we might catch a break when it comes to facing this future Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers. The quarterback who's been an absolute owner of the Chicago Bears throughout his career with the Green Bay Packers might not be available for the Steelers in Week 12. Yes, you heard that correctly. Rodgers, who is now with Pittsburgh after his brief stint with the New York Jets, exited the Steelers' victory over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday with a left wrist injury. And according to reports from NFL Network's Ian Rapoport, Rodgers is dealing with a fracture that makes his status for the game at Soldier Field this week 50-50. At best, let that sink in for a moment. Aaron Rodgers, the man who has beaten the Bears more times than any of us care to remember. The quarterback who famously told our fans that he owns us might not be able to play against Chicago in what could be one of the most important games of our season. This is the kind of break that could be absolutely huge for our playoff chances. Instead of facing one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, a guy who knows how to pick apart defenses and make plays in crucial moments, we might be facing backup Mason Rudolph. That's a massive difference in terms of offensive firepower and game management. Now I want to be clear about something. I'm not celebrating an injury. Nobody wants to see players get hurt. And I genuinely hope Rodgers recovers quickly and fully. But from a competitive standpoint, from a Bears fan perspective, this is an opportunity we absolutely have to capitalize on. We've faced Rodgers so many times over the years, and he's found ways to beat us in every imaginable fashion. He's thrown last-second touchdowns. He's converted impossible third downs. He's made our defense look silly with his pre-snap reads and audible. The guy is a magician with the football, and facing him is always a daunting challenge. If Mason Rudolph starts for the Steelers, that changes the entire complexion of this game. Rudolph is a capable backup, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have the same ability to extend plays with his legs, to throw receivers open with anticipation, to diagnose defenses and exploit weaknesses before the snap. Our defense, which has been playing better in recent weeks, would have a much better chance of creating turnovers and getting stops against Rudolph than they would against Rodgers. This could be the difference between winning and losing a game that has massive playoff implications. Think about what an 8-3 record would mean for this franchise. We'd be in prime position to win the NFC North. We'd be looking at a potential home playoff game. And we'd be sending a message to the entire league that the Chicago Bears are back as legitimate contenders. After years of struggling, after years of rebuilding and false starts, we'd finally be where we want to be, in the thick of the playoff race with a real chance to make noise in January. That's what this game represents. That's why Rodgers potentially being out is such a significant development. Now, I want to keep things in perspective. Even if we beat the Steelers and improve to 8-3, we've still got a brutal stretch of games coming up that will truly test this team. We're visiting the Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday, a team that's always tough and will be playing at home. Then we've got 2 matchups against the Green Bay Packers in the span of 3 weeks. And you know those games are always battles regardless of record. We also have to travel to San Francisco to face the 49ers, and we hosted the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field before the regular season concludes. That's a gauntlet of tough opponents, teams with winning records and playoff aspiration. These upcoming games will tell us everything we need to know about this Bears team. Are we pretenders who feasted on weak opponents, or are we legitimate contenders who can compete with the best teams in the NFC? I'm choosing to be optimistic here. I believe in what this coaching staff is building. I believe in the talent we have on this roster, and I believe that this team is capable of rising to the challenge. We've got playmakers on both sides of the ball. We've got a defense that's creating turnovers, and we've got an offense that's finding ways to move the ball and score points. The key is taking advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. If Rodgers can't go in Week 12, we absolutely have to win that game. There's no excuse for losing at home to a backup quarterback, especially when we're fighting for playoff positioning. This is the kind of game that championship teams win, the kind of game that separates contenders from pretenders. We need to come out aggressive. We need to establish our identity early. And we need to take care of business in front of our home crowd, looking at the bigger picture. This season has been about exceeding expectations and proving people wrong. Nobody expected us to be 7-3 at this. Nobody expected us to be leading the NFC North, and nobody expected us to be in legitimate playoff contention. But here we are, and we've earned this position through hard work, execution, and a refusal to give up in close games. Whether we're facing Rodgers or Rudolph, whether we're playing elite teams or struggling teams, we need to maintain that same mentality and keep finding ways to win. I'm genuinely excited about where this team is headed. Yes, we have tough games coming up. Yes, we'll face adversity and challenges. But this is what we've been waiting for as Bears fans. A team that's competitive, a team that has a chance to make the playoffs, a team that's building towards something special. The potential absence of Aaron Rodgers in Week 12 could be a huge break for us, but we still have to go out and execute. We still have to play our game, make plays, and finish strong. Nothing is guaranteed in this league, but I like our chances if we take care of business. Now I want to hear from you, Bears. What do you think about Rodgers potentially missing the game against us? Do you see this as a golden opportunity we have to capitalize on? Or are you confident we could beat the Steelers regardless of who's playing quarterback? And looking at our remaining schedule, how many wins do you think we'll finish with? Are we playoff bound, or will the tough stretch ahead expose our weaknesses? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to have this conversation with you. Your voice matters, and this channel exists because of your passion and support. In conclusion, the news about Aaron Rodgers' wrist injury and his questionable status for Week 12 is a massive development for the Chicago Bears. This gives us a legitimate chance to improve to 8-3 and solidify a position as NFC North leaders. Whether facing Rodgers or Rudolph, we need to execute our game plan and take care of business at Soldier Field. The upcoming schedule is brutal, but that's exactly the kind of challenge that will define what this team is capable of. I'm optimistic, I'm excited, and I believe this Bears team is building something special. Let's take advantage of this opportunity and keep this winning streak alive. If you want to stay updated on all the latest Bears news, breaking developments, and in-depth analysis, make sure you subscribe to Bears News Fan Report. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And smash that like button to support the channel. Share this with your fellow Bears fans because we're building a community of passionate supporters who bleed navy blue and orange. I'll see you in the next video with more exclusive content. Bear down. Let's get this. Win!